Hi, and welcome to today's video in the Study in the Phase Daily With series. Many students want to enrich their writing by using different kinds of constructions in their sentences and phrases. Today, we'll be talking about enriching your writing with some non-essential phrases and clauses. Non-essential phrases and clauses are basically not part of the independent clause or the sentence. They just add some information to it. Let's look at some examples of non-essential phrases and clauses. Apposition is one way to add variety to the various structures you use while writing. Apposition is when one noun phrase describes another noun in the main sentence. Look at the first example. Serena, my friend from my college days, is visiting next week. The independent clause here is Serena is visiting next week. However, the appositive, my friend from my college days, has been added to the sentence and makes this a little more enriched. Look at the second example. Kathmandu, the capital of Nepal, has 7 UNESCO World Heritage Sites. The independent clause here is Kathmandu has 7 UNESCO World Heritage Sites. The appositive added immediately after the noun Kathmandu, which is also the subject of the sentence, the capital of Nepal, basically enriches the sentence. Another kind of apposition is when you describe the object of the sentence. Look at the first example. We visited Stockholm, the capital of Sweden. The independent clause here is we visited Stockholm. However, the appositive, the capital of Sweden, gives us more information about the object, which is Stockholm. So you can use this kind of apposition to describe objects in your sentences. Look at the second example. I tried smoking a hookah. Hookah has been described as an oriental pipe. So this is another kind of apposition, whereby you add a phrase immediately after the object of your independent clause. Apposition can also happen before the subject of the independent clause. Look at the first example. The independent clause is New York is the birthplace of jazz. However, the appositive, a vibrant city, describes the subject, New York, and thus enriches the structure of this sentence. Look at the second example. The independent clause is Mahatma Gandhi dedicated his life to the struggle for independence. The appositive, a true patriot, describes the noun Mahatma Gandhi and makes your sentence richer and more complex. Another way you can describe your subject before the independent clause is by adding a participial phrase. Participial phrases begin with the present participle, the ing, or with the past participle. These are basically two examples of the present participle being used to describe a subject. In the first example, the independent clause is Alice quickly grabbed her bag and rushed out the door. The participial phrase running late for the meeting describes Alice because Alice is running late for the meeting. This kind of participial phrase also enriches your sentence. Look at the second example. Again, the participial phrase begins with the present participle. Hoping to catch the last train describes the subject he. Participial phrases can also begin with V3, the past participle. Look at the first example. The athletes were covered in mud and sweat. The independent clause here is the athletes celebrated their victory. However, the participial phrase using the past participle, covered in mud and sweat, describes the subject, the athletes. In the second example, disappointed by the results describes the subject, she. Another kind of non-essential is the non-essential clause. Who is a dentist by profession? In the example, describes Jimmy. However, because it is not essential to the meaning of the independent clause, which is Jimmy recommends brushing twice daily, it is separated from the independent clause by commas on both sides. See another example of the relative clause describing the subject by coming after the subject and being separated from the independent clause by commas. The independent clause here is, Jakarta has a very high rate of respiratory diseases. However, the adjective clause, which is one of the most polluted cities in the world, describes Jakarta. You can make your sentences more interesting and also enrich the variety of structures you use by using relative clauses like this. Thanks for watching this video about using non-essentials to enrich your sentence structure. For more videos like this, we'll be back soon with more videos about using different kinds of structures. To contact us to improve your English or for preparation for TOEFL, IELTS or GT, just log on to studyinafees.io. Till then, all the best and goodbye.